Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I wanted to talk about a few things that have been in my mind lately about all the stuff going on in Guild Wars 2 right now. And I wanted to convey my thoughts and feelings to you just to, I don't know, I guess it's to vent for myself and maybe get some conversation started on what's going on. I don't usually cover stuff like this. I usually make guides, and I do have guides. I do have guides ready to be edited, but I just haven't had the motivation lately to make a video. But today I did have a motivation because there's been a lot going on within the game and within the company, Anet, and all of that. So let's get started on this. So the first thing I want to talk about is, and this is a little bit late, I'm late to the game, but yeah, I know that Colin Johansson quit. We have Mr. Mike O'Brien in the front row seat, in the driver's seat of game director. But the main, and I'm sad to hear that because we all loved Colin Johansson. However, I'm also it's very unfortunate to hear that the legendaries have been canceled indefinitely. There's been a lot of discussion on that. I've watched all the videos from all different YouTubers and seen all the discussion about, how people are disappointed and stuff. And I am disappointed. I am very disappointed that the legendaries have decided to be canceled, and the way that has been handled. In general, I don't understand why this happens. And what I mean by this, when I say this, quote unquote, I mean where a company decides to do something so drastic. Or where a company starts to look on the topical, on the face of it, looks like the company is taking measurements or measures to avoid something or to do something to change things. And I don't know how I feel about the state of the game right now. I don't know how I feel about Guild Wars 2 in general. I still love the game. Like, the game that I play, I don't know how to describe it. I think the best way to explain how I'm feeling is that I still love the game that I played a year ago. I do not like the game I am playing right now. I am disappointed by a lot of things in the game I am playing right now. I'm disappointed by what's going on. I want the game I played a year ago, before Heart of Thorns, before any of that, before the announcements. The game that I was playing, I was getting on every single day to play, and I don't have that urge anymore. I don't. And I'm not saying I'm quitting the game. I'm definitely not quitting Guild Wars 2 because there is things going on. There's Super Adventure Box that come out, which is amazing. I'm so happy that they decided to bring it back and give us that. But there's the other things in the game I'm just not happy with. And I admit it. I'm not as optimistic as I was a year ago. I'm not as optimistic as I was, and it's really sad. I'm really, really disheartened to say that, because I believe so much in the work that they do, and the work that they've accomplished, and even the work that they have failed at. I don't know. And it also might be that I get this feeling. That as I look and see what the people from the company Anet are saying, and I get this general feeling that they don't believe in themselves at all, and I feel like it's my fault, and particularly the community's fault. But I'm saying my fault because I also feel like, I don't know, somehow passively or indirectly I've caused this, or contributed to this, but it's just been a downward spiral for them in the community, because everyone says all these things about them. Everyone says, goes on and says all these bad things about what they're doing and how they're doing it and all this stuff. And I feel like we've caused them to just stop believing in their work, and it's sad. It's really sad to me, and I don't know if that's really what's going on, but that's the way that I see it from my point of view. And you can disagree with me all you want, but I look at it like, man, I really wish that there's some way for us to be more. I guess it's hard. I know it's hard for us to be enthusiastic about their work when it comes down to it, because we did pay for a product and we want our money's worth from the product and all that stuff. You know, we want these things in the game to make it fun. I just feel like we you know, and we were maybe at one point as enthusiastic as they were, but I feel generally the community and the developers themselves have come to a point where it's just like this neutral level, but there's no enthusiasm, but there's no you know, feeling of, you know, there's no actual like giving up, but it's not there yet. It's not, and it's not like, you know, working hard. I don't know. It's this weird limbo that I feel like we're going into with Guild Wars 2. And you know what? I don't even, when we talk about limbo and everyone says, oh, but you know, a year and a half ago, we were just doing, you know, we had this limbo of no content, but that's not true. I had more fun in the game 2 years ago when I was getting on every day, doing dungeons every day, doing my stuff that I usually do, than I am now. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a lack of content, or if it's a lack of enthusiasm from the community, if it's a lack of enthusiasm from the company. I don't know what it is. And although I do know some part of it, and I wanted to go into this, I'm harshly segueing into another part of the conversation I wanted to have today, specifically targeted at a particular part of the game that I've been kind of, I don't know, I thought I loved at first, but I don't anymore. And that is raids. I am, now, before you say anything, before you start coming up with all sorts of things like, Raz, the raids are blah, 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 blah. The raids are cool. They're really cool, and they're awesome. They look cool. They have neat stuff in them. And I had this conversation with a friend of mine. They don't feel Guild Wars to me. They don't feel like they are part of Guild Wars. They just feel like something that was put in there because the community wanted it. It doesn't feel good. The raids don't feel a part of the world. And I keep looking back and I think, man, I really wish we hadn't really pushed for raids as much as we did. Because I feel like that's the reason why they're in the game right now, is that the community really wanted something other than dungeons, or something other than fractals. And then we asked for raids, and I mean, they just don't feel like a part of Guild Wars. You know, I keep thinking about the dungeons that I used to run every single day. You know, they had, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like the raids have substance to them. They don't have any, I don't know, substance. I can't even put it any other way. They don't have body to them. They don't have this oomph that makes me want to go do them. Yeah, they're cool. They have cool story points, but I don't know. I keep thinking back to when I was in about a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, when, you know, I think it was 2 years ago, when we had Lion's Arch had been destroyed by Scarlet, and it was kind of the, you know, and it was under attack, and our main hub had changed to the Vigil Keep. That was really cool, and that was the best time of my game of my life in Guild Wars 2, actually. That moment in the game, and I look back at that moment in the game, I had actually returned to the game about 6 months prior, when all the Living World stuff was happening, all of that. After, you know, as that stuff was going, that was the best time of my life in that game, in Guild Wars 2. That was the most fun I've ever had, because I was doing all sorts of things every single day. I was running dungeons, I was doing the Living World stuff, I was doing this, I'm doing that, I'm being on with my friends, we're having an awesome time. And there's things that I remember that remind me why I loved it so much. And fractals were in there too. I mean, we ran fractals as well. That was all a part of it. Dungeons, fractals, Living World, you know, PvP, even that's when I started really getting into PvP. And all of that together made the game really fun. But now it's all gone. No one wants to do fractals anymore. No one wants to do dungeons anymore. Everyone wants to do raids. And there's nothing in the world to do So what happened to the world? What happened to the world that I liked to play in? And I realized that, one of the reasons that I really liked dungeons and fractals, even when fractals were the way they were before all the changes, I still enjoyed them because it was somewhat of a kind of fun thing to do. Even though there's frustrations in there, and the rewards weren't as big as we wanted them to be, but there's still dungeons, so no one really complained. But it made me go to different, like the dungeons especially, made me go to different places. Made me go to these places, like, I went to Ascalon Catacombs. I had to go to Plains of Ashford to do that. I had to go for Crucible Eternity. I had to go to Sparkfly Fen to do that. Not Sparkfly Fen. Mount Maelstrom for that. I had to go for Caudicus' Manor. I had to go to Queensdale for, I had to go to these dungeons to go do them, to see things, to experience them over and over again. And yeah, they were easy, but look at raids right now. There's pug groups that are doing them all the time, and they're just turning into larger dungeons for most people. And I say most people, most of the people who want to run raids, who do run raids, are turning in, they're just kind of becoming these things that you do. But they aren't, I don't know, there's just something about them that doesn't feel right to me. Another thing is that the world, when I talk about, again, a lot of it has to come back to, there's not a lot of content in the game right now. There is, I'm not going to say that. There is content in the game. It's just content that no one wants to do. No one wants to run dungeons anymore. No one wants to run fractals anymore. No one wants to do World v. World anymore. No one wants to do anything else in the game but raids. They don't want to do anything. At least the people, most of the people that I interact with, no one wants to do anything. I don't see LFGs for any dungeons anymore, barely. Only for people who want to do the story missions. I don't see, and I try to do fractals on my own. That never happens. What happened to everyone? What happened to, and it's frustrating because I know that there's all this fun stuff to do in the game, but everyone's either forgotten about it or doesn't care anymore. Or it's not rewarding enough for them. And but man, I just want to play the game. I just want to have fun again in the game that I love. I love Guild Wars 2, but I can't play it by myself. Because I can't. I can't go and do a dungeon on my own. I can't go do a fractal on my own. I'm pretty sure there are people who sell them all the time, but that's not fun. An MMO is supposed to be a game where you socialize with people, where you do things with other people, where you do things together and go have adventures with each other. And that's what I'm having in other games right now. Raids are not the adventure I wanted. The raids are not the adventure I wanted. And I don't think we need them. I really don't. After experiencing them, I was really excited for them at first. But after experiencing them for the first time, Spirit Veil and now Salvation Pass, I'm coming to feel that they're just not needed for the game. They just weren't supposed to be in this game. And the game was supposed to be mainly driven by the story and all the little things that you could do in the game. And I'm finding that, and I've been listening to others talk about what endgame is and endgame content and yada yada. The endgame is you doing all of these little things together. A bunch of little things you do to make the game fun. And that's what Guild Wars 2 was 2 years ago, a year and a half, before Heart of Thorns was even announced. And, during Living World Season 1 and 2, especially Season 1, everyone gives Season 1 a hard time. I loved Season 1 because there was so much to do then. There was so much during that time, and even during Season 2 as well. There was so much to do. All these dungeons, you would run your dungeons, you do all these little things, you do your fractals, you go do some quest, some achievements and stuff, because the rewards you actually wanted. And you know what? There is some of that now currently with the collections and stuff. I really wish they would work on them a bit more to make them feel more adventure-ish, instead of making you do these things that you've done. I like the idea of going different places, but maybe, I don't know, go to different areas to find certain things. That's more of the thing I wanted to do than to grind certain things to find an object to come off of something. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think endgame needs to be this one big thing at the end, because that's not what makes a game. Because then all you're concentrating on this one thing at the end, and there's all this game behind you that you've left behind, that you've deserted, because there's this other one big thing standing here that you have to do over and over and over again. And I don't want this game to turn into WoW. I don't want it to turn into WoW. It's turning into WoW, what WoW ended up being. WoW was fun, and I've listened to many of my friends before who played vanilla WoW, and I've listened, who said there's all these things to do. No, the raids weren't even a thing at the beginning, but there's all these other little things to do that made the game, that combined together to make the game awesome. Like vanilla WoW was awesome. It was amazing. It was fun for many people, and I believed them, because I'm experiencing that right now in Black Desert, which I'm playing right now a lot, because there's all these little things you can do. I gotta go here, I gotta go do this, I gotta go that, because it's not some big huge and not some big raid that you have to go through, or even a big dungeon that you have to go through that you need to go get gear of some sort. Yeah, there's bosses you can summon to get certain gear and stuff, but there's still other things that you can do that are exciting. And they don't present this one big thing to you. They give you the option of doing it, which, I mean, no one has to do raids in Guild Wars 2, but you kind of do, because that's what everyone else is doing. It's what everyone has wanted. That's what everyone asked for the past year, or even 2 years. I don't know how long people asking for raids. So, I guess I'm going on a kind of a tangent. I'm going on a ramble a little bit, and it's really hard for me to convey my thoughts and my feelings through a mic, or it might not come out the way I wanted it to. And I'm not going to sit here and redo this take over and over again. This is me talking to you honestly about what I feel about Guild Wars 2 right now. Guild Wars 2 is an amazing game, but we're just not playing that part of it anymore. We're not playing the part that made it amazing for me and made it amazing maybe for other people. We're just playing raids. It's a raiding game, and I didn't want that. I wanted a game where I had to go do things across the wonderful world that was built in the game. To go see the things. I mean, go do... I really wish that they had just stuck with dungeons. I really wish they did. And stuck with dungeons even before Fractals. I really wish they just stuck with the dungeons. Because those feel the most Guild Wars to me. Those would bring me back to the days of Guild Wars 1 when you actually, there was different things to do in the dungeons, but the missions brought me back to those days where the missions were something you would do, and they were kind of like mini dungeons. So, I don't know. I've kind of been sad about it, and I've been kind of disappointed. And there's other things about the game I'm disappointed right now, mainly with the community, mainly with Arenanet itself. I really wish they hadn't stopped legendaries, mainly because that's if you want end game content, that's what main people work towards. Legendaries. Why would you get rid of legendaries? Why? I remember, before we had the collections and everything, you had to grind a bunch of money and stuff, but that was all part of the experience. That was all part of me going through the dungeons to get the money, to buy my precursor, to make Sunrise, my very first legendary. And I love it. It's mine. And the collections should have that same feeling, but they just need something else. They need something else. And I believe that dungeons could have given that to them. Legendary armor is cool, but you know what? They could have done something different with that as well. I don't know. I just don't feel like, I just don't feel the raid hype anymore. I'm done with the raid hype. I'll keep doing them. I'm not going to stop doing raids just because, I don't want, it's not that I don't want to do them. They're still cool, but I just don't feel like they're Guild Wars 2. I just don't. So, anyway, that was my honest opinion about what's going on in the game right now. I'm pretty sure I missed a few key points there. Yay for SAB coming back. I'm really excited to go back and do something that made the game fun for me back in the day. And again, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.